Hello, I'm David Vandiar, Director of Membership and Communications for the National Fire Sprinkler Association, and I'm joined here in the NFSA studio by John Corso, Manager of Training and Education for the National Fire Sprinkler Association. John, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Dave.
Appreciate you taking time.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit earlier. You've been around with the association now for going on 14 years or so.
Just about.
Came on board as a regional manager back in the day. From the Louisville area,
yes,
and has sort of evolved now over these many years into a training person with the association as the manager of training and education. Just tell us a little bit about what's occurred in training and education since you've joined the association.
Well, I have. You're right, Dave. I've been involved in training in some form or fashion most of my life. I mean, I've taught in community colleges, I've taught in the fire service, I've taught in high schools, grade schools, middle schools, and so I've been involved in that pretty much all my life in one form or fashion. Is kind of something askew to what I thought my normal profession was. And, I started out in the days where you wrote on chalkboards and you wrote on flip charts and moved to slides. I mean, I can remember teaching in England where I had a suitcase full of slide trays and all that, trying to load all that stuff up.
Things have changed. Right?
Things have changed and moved into PowerPoint and moved into video production and those kinds of things. And I think probably with training, it's just as true as it is with most of the evolution of technology in this country. I mean, there's been more changes in the last 10 years than there probably were in the previous 10,000
Sure. years.
And I think NFSA, fortunately, to my benefit, and I think to the benefit of our members and our students, benefits from that by NFSA trying to stay on the cutting edge of training opportunities
Sure.
and abilities in technology.
Absolutely.
And I think, in all honesty, I think one of the things that I've noticed from the instructor's perspective is a lot of what Jim Lake brought to the program when he came on as vice president of training and communication. Just a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden we've taken some pretty giant steps in terms of not so much the technology in terms of video production and things like that, although that obviously is way up in there,
Mm-hmm.
but the way he has structured classwork and in-class participation. The classes now seem to be way more interactive, way more participative for the attendees, which certainly improves their opportunities to take part.
Sure.
And I think it significantly enhances the educational opportunities, because now there are classes that have interactive parts where people do homework, they do preparations, they do presentations of their own.
Getting a little bit more out of it.
Yeah, both in group and in singularly. And so the end result from an instructor's perspective is you get to actually watch learning take place, which is just really fascinating from an instructor's viewpoint.
Very rewarding for the instructor.
It is.
Sure.
It's incredibly rewarding. You don't have to wait until somebody takes a test, and you don't have to wait and find out, how did they do? Did they learn anything? And
Right.
try to overhear things in the hall. People instead now, you can actually see it take place by their participation and by how deeply involved they are in the class. And the feedback we seem to be getting from the participants matches that. I've had a number of people tell me that they've gotten more out of classes than they ever have before. And I would like to think it's because of me, but unfortunately that's just not the case.
Yeah.
The case is it's because they were able to take part in the class and actually participate in the learning process.
Now, you're traveling all over the country delivering these programs.
I do, all over North America.
All over North America.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are we looking at in terms of the numbers? You're on the road quite a bit. What are we looking at in terms of numbers of programs that are being delivered by the Training and Education Department across the country right now?
I would love to give you a definitive number, but the only number I know to give you is what Jim Lake says, and the number is yes. That's just kind of the number. I kid in the sense that sometimes I don't feel like I've presented a canned standardized program in months. It's just that somebody calls, can you do this, can you do that? Well, yeah.
Customize the package to meet the customer's needs.
That's exactly right. And that's been a huge change, I think, over the last couple of years. So when people ask me, what types of programs do you do? I just say yes.
Where can people go? We'll wrap it up. Where can people go to get more information about NFSA's training programs?
Well, certainly NFSA.org. NFSA.org is the website for the National Fire Sprinkler Association, and you just click on the Training and Education little tag down there, and it'll open it up for in class, out of class, online, virtual. I mean, whatever you want. Yeah. Yes, that's all I know to say.
Super, super. Well, there you have it. You've heard it from one of NFSA's training gurus, John Corso, our manager of training and education. You can call him. You can call anybody in the training and education department anytime you're interested in registering for a program or sponsoring a program. Just jump over to the NFSA website. All that information is available under the training link. John, appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be with me here in the studio.
Thanks, David.
Good luck in your travels in training and education.
Thanks very much.
All right.